Great to have you company for race 3 of round 2 of the New South Wales Formula V Championship, supported by Wilcon Development and Construction, direct from Sydney Motorsport Park. Ryan Reynolds won the second race, Dylan Thomas won the first. Now we see who wins the round. They are side by side on the grid as we get ready to go off the line nicely. Reynolds jumped well. He'll get the whole shot and lead Thomas into turn 1.
It's actually pretty even. Initial jump, it was probably that second gear change. Reynolds did a good job.
Just
Butcher fell back. Yeah, Butcher fell back from third, finishing third in both the opening 2 races. He's fallen back to about 5th off the start there, so he hasn't had a great start. Here it is on board. There goes Sparks up the outside, and watch someone else come around. There it is, 6th. So he's fallen back behind Kinsella and I was going to say Horny. Horny's way back because he DNF'd again.
That's right.
Excluded. And here comes Simon Pace. Daniel Stein in the red car above.
Oh boy, it was tight. The wheel contact almost.
Aaron Pace just behind his father here, and then you've got Johnny Mack followed by Curtis Porter.
Didn't Aaron have a good run in the last race?
He certainly did. He's certainly developing into a great little steerer. Here you go, Simon Pace up the inside of Butcher. Good little move, that one there. Coming in into 3, definitely going to have the line and the run into 4. So you should call in. Butcher tucks in behind him. And here comes the Snake. Look at the Snake. Look at the cars.
Loving the onboards from Stevie Butcher and the extra on-screen data we get from that as well. Gives us a little bit of an insight into the speed and everything that goes on inside that car.
Big lock up there. Mark Williams has a spinner. Spinner, Mark Williams. Lee Porter easily evades him there. Let's get the thing started. It looked like he locked up the rears, and there's Jimmy Horn going through. So long way back for Jimmy Horn. There's Morgo. Morgo's running in Gary Hook's car this weekend.
I was about to say come in spinner, but Anzac Day isn't for a couple of weeks yet. So
another spinner.
Another spinner. Darren Williams
the
this
round
time.
sponsor.
They're all coming in
That's
this time.
That's an unusual place to have a spin. I wonder if he's had a bit of help with that one there.
Horny gets through there as well. So Horny's loving everyone that's spinning off because it's helping him get from the back of the field close to the front again. Well, yeah. I'll tell you what, someone who would like Ryan Reynolds to spin off is Dylan Thomas. We're on board with him now.
I think Dylan Thomas would probably rather beat him fair and square rather than the spin. But Jimmy Horn's had a bit of practice coming from the back. He did that in the earlier race today. Did a good job, actually finishing, I think, about 4th place, and unfortunately got excluded for ignoring black flags.
Only for it to be taken off him again.
It's not a bad effort, though, from the back of the field to 4th.
It's been a rough weekend for Horny. Like, yes, he's got the pace, but as I said to you off air, he's hot, he's cold, he's hot, he's cold. Some days he has a brilliant run, and then other days he comes unstuck. Obviously, mechanical issues aren't he's doing.
Well,
look at...
I think he's been pretty strong all year this year, Horny. He struggled a bit towards the second half to the later part of last year in the Polar. I'm not sure if they fell out of the setup window in that car or what, but he struggled a little bit at the end of last year, but he's certainly a strong driver, and he's jumped in the new Jacer, vacated by Tim Brook, who's gone to the Toyota 86 series and I'm assuming will do a pretty good job. I think he's doing pretty well this year. So it's just sometimes zig when he should have zagged.
Well, yeah, exactly. It was more last year that he had some issues with his track position and other things, but he started this year not too bad. It's just he's having a bit of bad luck this weekend. Look at this battle. This is going to be great. You're right. Thomas would prefer to beat him fair and square, but at the moment, Reynolds has just got terrific straight line speed.
He didn't even try and pass him there, Thomas. No. It looks like he just sat in the toe and said, too early for this, we're not getting towed from behind, so let's just play.
Well, they're 25-minute races from roll out to checkered flags.
No, Formula V are laps. They're
sorry,
not
they're laps.
Races.
That's right. They're the only category that are laps. You are absolutely right. My apologies.
Yeah, well fought by the motor race panel representative Ray Folletti there. Did a great job to make sure that Formula V does have lap races. Formula V does a lot of strategy. All the drivers there do watch the board, and when they see the last lap, they go, okay, where do I need to position my car?
Exactly.
And normally it's not in the lead, unusually.
Yeah, that's right. Let's not beat around the bush. The other categories do get a last lap board, it's just they don't know when it's coming. At least Formula V cars do know when it's coming. Different story at Wakefield Park, where we do run lap races, of course, but Sydney Motorsport Park have used a time system that has worked to their advantage in terms of finishing events on time. The only category that doesn't have that, Formula V.
Yeah. So and that works for Formula V. Yeah. They're very happy with doing it. So this group at the front is now 4. It's Ryan Reynolds, Thomas, followed by Craig Spark. Again, another strong performance by Craig Spark. Michael Kinsella there as always. What happened to Daniel Stein? He sort of lost a couple of car lengths there. He was
just a couple.
Yeah, and then you got Simon Pace, Butcher, followed by Aaron Pace.
He's had another strong showing this weekend, though, Stein. He won't be far off winning a race this year, I don't think.
Oh, potentially, yeah. So if they can stop bloody Ryan Reynolds winning all those races, so he's Butcher's been.
They might be waiting for him not to enter one.
Butcher's been playing with his mirrors every time. Big lock up ahead there. Who was that?
Wow.
That was Kinsella, I believe. Big lock up. So he had a lock up in the first race as well, where he slid and actually took out Simon Pace. So a little bit of brake bias issues going on there for Michael Kinsella.
It's been the big surprise this year, the dominance of Ryan Reynolds compared to the lack of from Michael Kinsella, considering as Thomas goes to the outside. I'll finish that point in a moment. Can he get him by the line? No! Again, Reynolds has the straight line speed. Look at it on replay. Have a look at this.
Pretty
There's
close,
nothing in it. It'll be a photo finish, which is exactly the way that we love our Formula V racing. If they keep that up. Another point I was making about Kinsella is he was the champion last year. He won the club championship portion. It was at the state of the club. It was the state. And, of course, Ryan Reynolds won the club. Oh no, moment there. Stein wide. And that allows Spark and Pace up on the inside. Stein sweeps around the outside, maintains his spot. Butcher's in this as well.
There he is. Look at that.
He managed to capitalise greatly on that. Spark, I apologise, was the other car heavily in on that. And Butcher's capitalised on that mistake and closed in a couple of car lengths. He was about 6 or 7 behind. Now he's about 3 or 4. And every car length helps in Formula V. The point I was making about Michael Kinsella is compared to Ryan Reynolds, his championship defence hasn't got off to as strong a start.
No, well, Horny, look at that, the oil coming through again. There's Darren Williams with Lee Porter. Yeah, Michael Kinsella is certainly knows how to build an engine. I mean, the engine in Thomas's car is built by Kinsella as well. In fact, Stevie Butcher's engine, maybe not this one, he's got a Kinsella engine as well. But they certainly build strong engines, and he works with Paul Corcoran, who builds the engine in the Checkmate, which you also know is probably one of the strongest motors going around. So, in terms of power-wise, those boys shouldn't be lacking on power. So it's only a little bit of a setup window that Kinsella must be struggling with, and we've seen him locking up brakes this weekend, so maybe he's got a bit of a brake bias issue that's not quite enabling him to fight Reynolds at the front there. So, but certainly, on his day, Michael Kinsella is unbeatable.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a matter of getting back to that point for him.
Yeah, Jeff Bassinway's leading the 1200 battle again against ahead of Ray Cripps and Bernie Cannon in that. So, there's the lead group, and there's a bit of a gap back through. So Aaron Pace is leading this next group, and he's pulling a car link to Johnny Mack, Curtis Porter, Matty Pearce, and the smoky Jimmy Horn. So,
Smokey the Bandit. Have a look at it.
So Jimmy Horn's in threat of getting another black flag, and if he does that, that'll be 3 races of non-scoring this weekend. That's his championship out the window.
Exactly.
Before it's even begun, we're at round 2.
And that's kind of implying that he was going to beat the likes of Reynolds and Thomas this year, who he hasn't matched it with yet.
He's been strong enough.
He's been strong enough. He just hasn't had the track position at the right time. And when you lose 3 races in Formula V, as Ryan Reynolds knows all too well from last year, it kills you.
It certainly does. And Ryan actually only lost 1 race last year, in essence, because you dropped your worst race.
Yeah.
And the round that he missed,
there was a race red flag that didn't run the difference. Trying to hang on the outside, and can he get in by 1? No, Reynolds is going to hold on the inside.
But the two of them have pulled away from this next group, which has Daniel Stein on the inside of Aaron Pace. It's quite confusing, those 2 red cars.
Simon Pace, actually, I think
Kinsella
you'll find.
Wide again. So see, Kinsella locked up and went wide again, ran Steiny wide. Butcher comes through and takes the position. There he is, see that?
Oh, look at that. Sparky wide, and then Butcher up on the inside.
So
the next in line is Pace, and then, of course, Stein leading the pack at the moment.
So you asked the question why Kinsella's struggling a bit this weekend.
Keeps locking it up.
I think
and he keeps getting balked.
Yeah, I think you've seen it. So, I see a little CXC hat with your young Carter Thomas sticking his head in the side there. Good to see.
Good to see the kids out enjoying their Formula V racing on a Sunday. It is one of the categories that draws people to the fence, and it's really one of the underrated categories in New South Wales motorsport and Australian motorsport. The entertainment that this category provides is second to none in terms of close racing, the tense, tight battles, the fighting for positions, the jockeying for positions, and of course the tight finishes that you see as well, often separated by hundredths, if not thousandths of a second. It really is underrated, and you get good fields everywhere you go. And good to see people out enjoying their motorsport on a sunny Sunday in Sydney. As Spark again hits the dirt.
I tell you what, Sparks is not shy on using all the track. I mean,
and a little bit more.
Yeah, I've noticed in the earlier race as well. He was also touching the turf on a few occasions. So certainly not shy. There goes Morgo. There's in the foreground is Jimmy Horn, Smokey the Bandit. So you got the lead two, Reynolds and Thomas. Then you've got Stein, and I've lost my train of thought there.
Yes.
And then you've got another car and Smokey the Bandit, and
Pierce has pulled up on the exit, on the approach to 16, I should say. Pierce's day is done.
And as Darren Williams comes through, the round sponsor was Wilcon Construction. Here comes Thomas. Will he get him by the line this time? Not looking like it, is it?
Not at all. Not at all. Still a nose from Reynolds to Thomas as they hit the line once more. So Reynolds, not long left in this one. We're about halfway through.
I mean, so Thomas has certainly been strong enough to match it with Reynolds, and pull away from the rest of the field. But he's certainly not been strong enough to actually get past Reynolds and do anything about it. So I don't know if he's got a car that's sort of better suited to the tight part of the circuit where he's not doing anything with it. Anyway, Johnny Max got past Aaron Pace there. Darren Williams having a fairly lonely event by himself with Morgo catching up closely. And there's the Aurora of Adam Brook as well, followed by Lee Porter having a good show in there, starting to get used to that new car of his, which is actually the ex-Jeff Bathingway 1600, which is the ex-Scott Blake 1600, which is the ex-Zane Alced 1600.
And the list keeps going. Exactly.
Well, I think Zane built it up as a kit car from new, as a factory supply kit. And here is Jeff Bathingway with Ray Cripps all over his tail.
Yep.
And Bernie Cannon not too far back behind either. So that's the 1200 battle, fighting for the 1200 class win there. So, doing a fantastic job, those two guys. Thomas all over the back of Reynolds through there. Simon Pace ahead of
Stein. Ahead of Stein now. Yeah, that's interesting.
Johnny Mack ahead of Aaron Pace and Curtis Porter.
A long race, this one. In fact, all three very long races for Formula V this weekend. We're not used to having races of around 40 kilometres, 40.5 kilometres for the 9-lap races this weekend, which will take its time on car and driver. But
especially the old boys like Butcher.
Yes, the cars are being absolutely flogged in these races.
Talking to Butcher, here he is with Kinsella going past him. So Kinsella was
the outside.
Kinsella was in. He's
Watch
in
Butcher
now,
under brakes.
Third, fourth, fifth.
Won't get him.
What's Kinsella under brakes?
Kinsella had the run on the outside. Would have been good to. Yeah.
Okay, we'll see that in here because this is actually the battle just in front of those two. Thomas didn't get to the line again on that occasion.
Oh boy.
So
it's mounting that. The pressure is mounting there. That battle is tense.
Yep.
Reynolds a little bit wide. Thomas pokes it up the inside without any luck.
Kinsella doesn't lock up on this occasion, which I'm sure Simon Pace is thankful with because last time in the earlier race he copped a little bit of a bump, if you want to call it that.
Exactly.
Okay, so Aaron Pace has fallen to the back of this group here. So Johnny Mack is ahead of Curtis Porter with Aaron Pace behind. Reynolds still leads Thomas. Stein's got a car length or two to Simon Pace. Butcher's trying to look around the inside of Michael Kinsella with... See, Sparks uses... Look how close Spark runs to the side of the track there. A lot of track usage there from Spark.
Exactly right. We've commented on that a few times already this weekend. All the track and a little bit more. But here at Sydney Motorsport Park, if you go a little bit too far at 5 and 16, the officials have what our good friend and commentary colleague Lachlan Mansell would call a sense of humour failure.
A sense of humour failure, that's exactly right.
And they didn't hold back in that second race. You heard the long list of penalties that we ran through at the end of the second race.
And I suggest you'd probably find there'll be a couple in this one as well.
A lot of drivers getting whacked over the knuckles.
In fact, I think I've seen Jimmy Horn across the line a couple of times already as well. So he very well may pick up a couple as well if he doesn't get a black flag for his Smokey the Bandit going on. Thomas all over the back of Ryan Reynolds, but can't do anything about it.
Little car length and a half gap there from Reynolds to Thomas now, and Stein holding on to third.
Yep, and is Ray Cripps. Ray Cripps has got past Jeff Bathingway with another lock-up Kinsella. Look at that.
Oh, Butcher now looking up on the inside, using the curb, gets it a little bit crossed up, and that costs him the run out of 16 on the run up to 17. This battle continues, and it's Stein, Pace, then you go back to Kinsella.
Thomas will get him by the line this time. It's looking much better for him on this occasion, but he runs out of steam.
No.
Just runs out of puff, doesn't it? So
it's almost as though Reynolds has got just that little bit extra in top gear.
I'd say in top end, his thing just runs a bit more, which in Formula V, it could be in the flow of the head. So Thomas is running, not his normal motor this weekend. So, I suggest that, that the heads in his other motor is probably slightly better flowing than the heads on this motor, and Ryan Reynolds certainly has some good flowing heads.
Yeah, exactly right. The horn was a little bit wide there on Spark coming into turn 2. Here's the battle for the back.
Curtis Porter now is at the head of this group.
At the back of that.
So Johnny Mac's been passed, and good to see the cars down by the fence there with their boots open, sitting there probably with their Eskies in it, eating their chicken rolls and drinking their
absolutely
coldies of some description. See, Thomas is all over the back in the tight stuff of Ryan Reynolds. Picks up a bit of dust there. Stein has still got a car length onto Simon Pace. Sparks has fallen off the back of that group a little bit by a car length. He'll pick that back up in the tow.
Yep.
And then there's this little, I was about to say quartet, but there's not a quartet because Darren Williams is off the back of it because he got turned around early.
You mentioned the top end, you mentioned the heads, of course. Not necessarily as big a problem at Wakefield Park as it is here because there's a lot more slipstreaming to be done and a lot longer straight here at Sydney Motorsport Park than what there is at Wakefield.
Oh, absolutely. I've heard some questions about are the cars performing that strongly that they're still able to get a good run down the straight, that they keep on running and therefore alleviating the ability to get the tow, which is what's Formula V is synonymous about, having a tow. And if one car is still pulling as the straight gets to the end there, do you get the pull? And it's my opinion that still doesn't get the tow in time there, does he?
No, not at all.
It's my opinion that if someone's doing a good job, I don't think they should be penalised, and the guys that are chasing need to pull their tails and try and find more pace.
Yeah, exactly right.
So,
and that's the challenge that they've got.
Absolutely. So and at the moment Ryan Reynolds is doing the best job in development, and he's at the front as a result.
Absolutely.
So anyway, so there you got Johnny Mac going back up the inside of Curtis Porter. There's Darren Williams with Wilcon Construction going through. That looked like that was still Horny there, but he's not making any ground like he was in the first race. There's Mark Williams all over the back of Lee Porter there. A couple of very well presented Jaces doing a good job. Thomas trying to have a look around the outside of Ryan Reynolds, but not close enough. Good under brakes. Pull the nose in. Get on the drive.
Boy. This is great racing, isn't it? Between not only the top two, but the battle for the remaining places. Kinsella's up to fourth. He's got past Pace. Now Stein is in his reach.
Oh, Aaron Pace is dropping off of this group. So what's going on with Aaron? He's sort of running out a bit of puff there as I look at the puff of the exhaust pipes going off.
Yep.
Thomas. Window to the camera there for Thomas. So
bit of a show off is our Dylan Thomas.
Well, he's got his son up on the filming of the camera next to the camera up there. So he's probably saying hello to his son. So
yep.
Enough presence that he knows that where the car in front of him is, that he's able to say hello. Here's Butcher all over the back of Simon Pace into this great section of the Brabham circuit here. Left, right, left, down into the hairpin as you come down through here. Quite technical. You have got an opportunity to go for a dive at the pass if you get off that corner, which Butcher hasn't. And then you've got to stay quite wide because you don't want to go back to second gear here. You're trying to hold third.
That's right.
Get it as wide as you can. You can hit that little first part of the rumble. Stay wide entry, tight apex, and wide exit.
I think that's the first time we've had an onboard shot through the whole of that complex. It's quite interesting to see just how tight it is compared to the rest of the circuit. I know we've mentioned it already this weekend, but it is a really tight section of the circuit as they go through there once more. As you said, right, and left some more. And
that's not
really
Jimmy Horn behind. That's Morgo. So Jimmy Horn's actually disappeared. I suspect he's
retired.
I suspect he's retired with Black Flags.
Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest, actually. He's had a shocking weekend. That's 3 DNFs.
Absolutely. And Adam Brooks, just going through the shot before, was also puffing a bit of smoke, as is Bernie Cannon. So there's a bit of smoke going on out there. Not that one there coming from Simon Pace. That's out of the exhaust pipe on the gear down. That's perfectly acceptable. It's the ones out of the leaky rocket covers that the officials have that sense of humour failure that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, exactly right.
Was that Stevie Butcher waving out his pocket?
Yes. I like the other point about Dylan Thomas. You mentioned him waving to his son. I like he's also got that that knowledge of where the cameras are. He's got too much knowledge of that as far as I'm concerned. He's got not enough knowledge on how to beat this guy, Ryan Reynolds. Have a look at this. Still can't get him by the line.
That's it. The last lap board hanging up there, I think I just saw. So,
white lap
still doesn't get
flag indicated this time. Last lap board is out.
Okay, so Steiny's got a car length on Simon Pace, who's got Kinsella right next to him. Here's Curtis Porter trying to run up the inside of Johnny Mac. Did Johnny Mac have a nose missing again?
Wouldn't surprise me. That's not the first time this year. He had one missing at Wakefield.
No, so I wonder if those two have come close together.
It's been a year for nose cones going flying in Formula V.
Yeah, well, it is close racing, so
which is good. And Rubbings Racing, as Ricky Bobby would say.
So Steiny's got a couple of car links on Kinsella. Simon Pace. No, Johnny Mack has got his nose cone on there, so my apologies, Johnny Mack. I am used to seeing a Mako without a nose in bygone years, so maybe it's just a Freudian slip, so to speak.
Yes, exactly.
So back in the days, so there was Carter Thomas, so hanging his fence over. That's who Thomas was waving through before.
And he knows that Dad's so close to getting Ryan Reynolds that he can smell the champagne.
Oh, there's still champagne for second.
Oh, there is still champagne for second, but it's just that little bit more sweeter if it's first.
Oh, absolutely, it certainly is. It's pretty sweet in the eyes any time of the day, really.
Exactly. It's so close over the top of that section of the circuit. Stein's got third at the moment, but he's got 2 Lecales to Kinsella. He's got pace. And then, of course, Butcher and Spark chasing him. The same.
So Butcher's had a strong weekend, hasn't he?
Exactly.
Butcher's two third places, and now
the same suspects we had at Wakefield Park battling for those minor placings again. It's great to see.
Oh, look at that. Johnny Mack goes defensive, which could make him a bit susceptible on the way out to Curtis Porter. Yep. Oh, look at that. What was that? Did you see that? Looked like something shot up out of the back of Aaron Pace's car in the braking zone there. That'd be interesting to see again. Anyway,
let's have a look
he's
at
coming
this,
in at 10, 11, 12, coming onto the straight. That Ryan Reynolds has actually got a car length on Thomas there, so Thomas is not so close coming on the straight, so I don't think he's going to get the toe for sure.
I think
job
we'll
done.
See Ryan Reynolds getting the job done. Yes, he does. Brilliantly done. Only 3/10 in it at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. That's win number 4 of the season.
Steiny didn't go defensive, so he was safe. And Kinsella, I think, ran
fourth,
so he didn't get the toe either.
No, he didn't. The interesting thing is, as we watch the rest of the minors come down through there, that's win 4 of the season for Ryan Reynolds. What a dominant force he is in New South Wales Formula V at the moment. Ryan Reynolds from Dylan Thomas, Daniel Starr, Michael Kinsella and Simon Pace, the top 5. Butcher, Spark and Porter making up the top 8. The 1200s, that should be, go to Ray Cripps from Bernie Cannon and Jeff Bassingthwaite. And that's the way we do it. Great to have your company once more for round 2. Dylan, look forward to seeing you a little bit later on in the year for round 3. Terrific racing again at Sydney Motorsport Park.
No worries, and thanks to Wilcon Construction for their support on this round for the Formula V State Championship.